Hello everyone and welcome to Songwriters Spotlight. I'm your host, Scot Schroeder, and I have the privilege and the honor to interview a man who's been in the business, a veteran in music, is an entertainer, singer-songwriter, and just a all-around good guy. Good friend of mine, John Michael Ferrari.
Good to be here.
Good to be here. Thank you.
And Pepper J. Got Pepper
and
J.
Pepper J's she's off camera a little bit, but she may answer some more questions and stuff like that that we would need to fill in and stuff like that. Pepper J is producer for John Michael, and basically she runs the show for him and takes care of everything you need to take care of.
She does all the business and all the programming and scheduling, because you need that.
Oh yeah.
You can't have an artist and not have that.
Right.
I mean, you could, but then you wouldn't have a career.
Well, and we'll get into that because you can't do this all on your own.
Right.
Even independent artists aren't independent, or at least shouldn't be.
Never an independent artist are independent. It takes a group of people.
Takes a group of people, right. Well, I want to first of all highlight some awards that you have.
Oh, yeah.
Many, many awards that you have accumulated over time. And more recently, some really significant ones.
Yeah. So what a surprise.
You've got an outstanding radio artist by National Music Awards, 2023. You just recently got the ISA, what was it?
Best Album of the Year for Silver. It was his album, I Keep Dreaming.
Yes, Best Album of the Year for Silver. Yeah. That just recently happened.
Last weekend, yes.
Last weekend. Your song "Working My Way to Nashville" is a country tune co-written by
Ray Ligon.
By you, Pepper J, and Ray Ligon. Yes. Sung by Ray Ligon, was named Outstanding Country Single by National Music Awards in 2023. And then Songwriter of the Year 50 Plus by Kentucky Country Music Association 2023. And co-songwriter of the year at the North American Country Music Festival in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. There's so many of them here. Just Best New Country for your song "I Keep Rolling On." Best New Gospel for your song "Bring Me Home."
Yeah. After a while, I mean, it's nice to have all those awards. You know, it's like getting degrees, going to college. They get piling up, and once you get one award, it opens up the door for all the other awards, because people notice you, they see you, and then they start evaluating you, and if you have good material, they listen to it and they promote you, they help promote you. So it's important for an independent artist to get started and get involved in some of these award shows. And because if you get one, then you can get noticed and it'll grow. Hopefully it'll grow.
Yeah, that's one thing you're good at is being involved in those different award shows or groups and stuff like that, and they recognize your work.
Some are larger than others, and some are more significant than others. But Pepper says, we're going to go this route, we're going to do this. She has a plan, and I just follow it.
Yes, and you follow it very well, actually.
Well, it's a team effort.
Yeah.
I mean, she's working hard doing what she's doing, and it's my job to go along with it. Because I say, well, I don't feel like doing that. That has nothing to do with it. It's your responsibility. Whether you're feeling like you want to do it or not. You have to do it.
A lot of that comes down to trust.
Yes.
Yeah. And Pepper has a very good gift for knowing her job and knowing what she's supposed to do.
And you keep commitments and timelines.
Yeah, timelines, commitments, And of course, Pepper has gotten more involved, or has been involved, with arrangements and music that way.
She's becoming more involved in that.
Yeah, more involved in that, right. You grace the cover of magazines, New Music Weekly magazine, Hollywood Weekly, Easy Way magazine, just to name a few. I got to give a kudos to Pepper J. Was named Outstanding AC Music Producer of the Year in 2021 by the Producer's Choice Honors for their song "My Heart Can't Breathe."
Yeah.
Yeah, I just recently listened to that song.
Oh, did you?
Yes, and it's beautiful, beautiful song, and the story behind it. Which,
Yeah. Oh, the story. You got the story.
Yeah,
behind
you
it.
got the story behind it.
Yes.
You also got the music producer of the year 2023, among other awards over the years and stuff like that. So that's been it's been really cool to see.
Yeah, a lot of people
you're not
don't-
just you're not the only one who's getting some of that.
Yeah, and having a producer, because sometimes you hear the word producer,
Yeah.
and it can mean many things.
Right.
It can mean the money people, if it's in the film industry.
Right.
In the music industry, it's usually the person that's coordinating the music in the studio, which that's what she does. When we get into the studio, there's so many things going on that the artist just does not have time to try to take all that in.
Right.
You know, the artist's job for me is to sing and get the best I can into that. But her job is to coordinate with the session leader and all the musicians and make sure all that is running smooth. She'll ask me if I have any input or anything that I want to say.
Right.
And most of the time I don't. Sometimes I say, well, can we do the guitar part over again? Let's do the guitar part.
Yeah.
She'll relay that to the session leader, and he'll relay that to the guitar player. And I'll say, what do you want? And I'll say, just something different.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because one time the guitar player, these musicians are fabulous musicians.
Yes. Yes.
And he did a solo, which I'm thinking, I could never play that solo. Yeah. And you have to be an extraordinary guitar player to play that. Right. And I asked him, can you simplify that solo so that the average guitar player could play it?
Yeah.
And he said, oh, sure. You just got to carry it away, so like doing things that most people couldn't do.
Yeah.
Some little things like that.
Well, one of the things, this is a good nugget for anybody that's a songwriter out there and everything is, one is don't try to do it alone. Don't be a lone wolf on these things. Get a good producer, get somebody, a good manager, etc. People in your corner that are gonna free you up to be able to do your creative work.
When I got Best Album of the Year,
Yeah.
I said in my acceptance speech, it takes a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because it takes all the musicians.
Right.
They come in, we have an idea of what we want them to play, but we leave space for them to input and self-produce. And their creativity helped elevate what we're doing to a higher level. So it takes many people. It takes the engineers.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people don't realize it's not just the musicians, but it's the engineer, recording engineer, the mixing engineer.
Yeah.
Just in the studio. I mean, it takes a lot of people coming together.
Yeah. That's. I studied engineering, the studio recording. Yeah. And that's an art.
It is an art.
Not everybody can do that, and you get these home studios and all that stuff. There's nothing like going. You mentioned this before in other interviews. It's nothing like going into a professional studio. You can do your home studio stuff, but not on a record.
We have our home studio. It's a nice studio. It's a duplicate of what the studio here in Nashville. Yeah. But I don't do any mastering. It's all for demos. When we're in there, it's experimental, trying to work up ideas for arrangements and ideas like that. But we don't try to record because that's a whole different level.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not an engineer like that.
Well, the other thing on this, just to get a little bit deeper on this, is that talk about trust, but also humbleness within if you're a singer-songwriter out there and you've got an ego, it's not going to work. No. It's definitely not going to work. And that's, you have obviously mastered that as far as trying to be humble and to listen to other people.
Well, when you're in the studio with the musicians, these are fabulous players.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Yes. I mean, you were going to compare egos and ability. I mean, they far surpass what I can do. Now, sometimes I'll replay something at my home studio and I'll send it to the engineer and I'll say, if it's good enough to insert into the song, use it. If not, we'll hire another player to come in and play it.
Right.
But what I'm adding is something usually pretty simple.
Exactly.
But if they think, oh, that's okay, it'll work, it'll fit. Little piano parts I may want to put in there. Yeah. But they're the best. They're the best.
that experience of doing it every day makes a huge difference for them.
Yes.
You know, they're used to, you know, typically just going in and just starting it up and you know, rock and roll, you know, in their own way without any really very little guidance. They just want to kind of know what the
between the producer and the session leader, they make sure that all the charts are written out.
Yeah.
And they listen to our recording of what we presented to them, and they take notes.
Right.
And then they go to their station, and they pretty much they get it down in 1 or 2 takes.
Yeah.
And then they go back and say, let me go to the bridge again. I want to replay that, and they listen to it. Let me try this. And, you know, it's all done because you know we record 5 songs in a session.
Yeah.
And you have to be completely organized. You can't be like, what was this and what was that? No.
We record the tracks, the musician's tracks, and a draft vocal.
Right.
And we come back in a separate session to do his vocals and a separate session to do the background vocals, and then another separate session for mixing and then remixing if we need it.
Right. The don't go in the studio. Here's a little tip. Don't go in the studio not prepared.
Yes.
Because you waste a lot of time, and it's kind of an insult to people that are there. You know, they're ready to go. And,
they give you a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
And because those musicians have another gig to go to.
Right.
You know, or they have another session that they're going to. When it's time for them to leave, they're gone.
Yeah.
You know, that's it.
Yeah, you can't. You can probably go back some if you have a little bit of tweaking, but don't go in there unprepared. Do it all at home.
And we usually buy extra time, so we have that cushion.
Yeah, you want to have a little bit. Yeah.
It costs money. I mean, it does cost money.
Well, that's not a lot of songwriters don't have a lot of money in general anyway.
And that's why a lot of them go to a home studio.
Right.
To save money.
Save money, right.
But what they're forgetting is the production quality of what they're getting is not the production quality that's on the radio. When you hear songs on the radio, that's what you're competing with. You have to have that production quality. And many of our songs have gotten awards for production quality. It had nothing to do with us. It was the studio, the engineers that made that happen.
Yeah.
Even though we get the award, it was them.
Yeah, and it's a team effort for sure.
And we recorded at Larry Beard's studio, and there are many good studios.
Well,
so you just have to find the right one for you. But that was a good fit for us, and we've done all of our recording there because they have fabulous people.
Yeah.
And they like working with us. We like working with them.
Yeah. Well, let's go kind of toward the beginning, and thank you for all of that because it was. I think a lot of people that are watching, they need to hear that. Just that element of being prepared and trusting the people you work with, being humble and all that stuff. So, how was your childhood when you were growing up?
I was smaller.
Just a little tinier, yeah.
But I was
That's
still
true.
me.
You were,
Yeah, I was me, and I knew what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I tell you where my discipline came from.
Yeah.
When I was young, I got involved in ice skating and roller skating in competition.
Yeah, that was one of my questions, yeah.
And when you're involved in something like that, you're skating 8 to 10 hours a day.
Mm.
I mean, you're dedicated.
Right.
So after a few years of doing that, when I got into music, I have that same dedication. And that dedication has stayed with me through all these years. Yeah. Even today, I rehearse every day.
Yeah.
I have a stage set up at home.
Oh.
And I perform how I'm going to be on stage. Because most of the people see me playing the guitar in the roundabouts here.
Yeah.
But that's not what I really do.
Right.
When I perform, I don't use a guitar. I'm out in front. And I'm singing, I'm dancing, I'm moving, doing all the things.
It's the entertainer in the...
And you know, it's funny because I was watching a video one day and I'm watching my moves. I'm doing these things, you know, and all that stuff. And it occurred to me, that's my roller skating. That's my ice skating.
Yeah.
Because when I would jump and do a land, this is what I would do.
Yeah, you gotta make it look
and I'm still doing it. You know, I'm still out there.
That's interesting. I didn't think about that. Yeah, and I knew about the roller skating, the ice skating, but you went to roller skating because the girls, I guess.
Here, girls were at the roller rink.
Yeah, the girls. Which is true. I mean, anybody's roller skated. Now, did you play any sports or any hobbies? I mean, you talked about roller skating, stuff like that. And were you like an introvert or extrovert?
A little both.
Okay.
Yeah. I was on the track team.
Yeah.
And I was the slowest runner on the track team. I was on the
You're
track
always
team.
bringing up the rear. Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
But I could do I could broad jump. I was first the broad jump.
Okay.
So I was at Carson City High School.
Right.
And the coach came to me and he says, you're the only one I'm going to send to the Junior Olympics because nobody else qualified. But you qualified because you're the slowest and you're going to make it in the time of before the grades come out because you're not going to be eligible. After the grades come out, you won't be eligible.
You won't be eligible. Yeah. Wow. So that actually paid off.
It paid or so, yeah. Yeah. And I did okay.
Yeah.
But I got to go to Reno University up there. And
Yeah.
that's where they held the Junior Olympics. But I wasn't a real athlete. I mean, I tell people I have a lot of football injuries.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because I played football, it's just everybody on the team used to beat me up.
Everybody on the football team,
Yeah.
I thought you were saying like, get in the water or something like that, you stumble, or not. But yeah. Now, I know that, and I'm jumping ahead here, but you were in the military.
I was.
This is kind of where we share certain things. One is the running, because I used to do cross country running myself, not track so much, but and I was in soccer and I was in the sports whatever. But I was never the best in any of that. It was good. It was okay. But when I heard about the military, talk about discipline, because you have some of that from there too. But you went into the military. You didn't graduate from high school.
No, I didn't graduate from high school. I was asked to leave high school.
They graduated,
Well,
in a different
actually,
way.
I was here in Las Vegas, going to Vegas High School.
Yeah.
Oh, we're not in Las Vegas.
No.
We're in Tennessee.
We're in Tennessee.
And they had an idea.
Yeah.
Brainstorm. Hey, this is going to be great for you. You should drop out of school and join the military. Wow, that's and it was a good idea.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't doing anything in school.
Yeah.
My focus was someplace else.
Right.
And my friend and I, we went down to the military selective service office. We were in Carson, went back to Carson City, and we signed up. I was 17, and they said when I turned 18, I would get a draft notice.
Okay.
And that I went into the service. That was one of the best decisions I made because otherwise I would have just gotten in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what did your parents? I don't know if this is as a question, but what did your parents think about that?
They didn't even know anything about it.
They didn't know.
No.
Really?
Yeah, and everyone's never asked me that, and I never even thought about it.
Yeah.
All these years.
Okay, I was just wondering.
Yeah, I never.
Because I didn't know if you could, your parents could sign you off to, in the military. But I guess you had to wait till 18.
That's, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
But being 17, you would need a parent.
Yeah.
But I signed all the papers, and they said as soon as you turn 18, we're submitting these, and
Yeah.
And I went to the military, and it was good. The thing about when I was young, I mean, I loved to run. I was a runner.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
even though I wasn't fast, even to this day, I loved running, and even though I don't run as much, but I take long walks. I do walk.
Oh,
all
yeah.
the
You
time.
talked about that.
Yeah. But it was good for me, and I was playing little music at the time. I was in bands. In high school, I was in bands.
Yeah. Yeah.
And stuff.
That's kind of where it sort of started.
Well, it started when I was about 8 years old.
Yeah, that's right. The Elvis.
Yeah,
story.
I got the Elvis guitar,
Yeah.
And so that helped me out a lot.
Tell that little story about Elvis, about just in the fact that you know how to hold the guitar.
Well, when I got a guitar, my stepfather and I went down to Market Street in San Francisco, in a pawn shop, and picked out a guitar. I said, "That's great." And I got home and I couldn't figure out how to hold it. I mean, like to hold it like this or hold it like that. And I thought, I'll just, which way Elvis is holding the guitar, I'm going to hold it that way.
Right.
So he plays it right-handed, but I'm a left-handed person.
Oh. Okay.
But now I still play right-handed.
Yes. You just didn't go to the left hand.
I didn't go to the left hand. Maybe I would have been a better guitar player if you went the other way.
Yeah, if you would have followed Jimi Hendrix, you'd have been a left-handed player.
Yes, if I would have looked at his picture, I would have been the other way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you would have probably had maybe the same type of music you're doing. don't know. So when you got out of the military, what did you do after that?
I was lost.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do. I got into a little trouble, a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the only thing I really know how to do is play guitar and sing.
Yeah.
So I was living up in San Francisco, the Bay Area, and I started learning how to play a lot of Cat Stevens, Jim Croce songs, and all those type of things, Neil Diamond songs.
Yeah.
And I went out and got jobs in all the different clubs, because almost every club had entertainment. They had a guitar player. Steakhouses had guitar players. It was easy to get a job if you could play 4 hours of music.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I could do that.
Right.
So I made a living doing that.
Yeah.
And basically, that's how I learned my craft. Because back then, you could play a venue for 6 weeks,
Right.
and then you'd be rotated to someplace else. Well, you would take everything you learned, all your stick that you would, comedy routines, and you'd work it out to the next place. And then you'd take the next place. So you really had a venue to practice your craft. Right. They don't have that today.
No.
And you got paid for it. Now in Nashville, they have places you can play, but they don't get paid.
They don't get paid. These writers' nights and things like that we're speaking of.
And I was getting $30, $40 a night. My rent was like $90 a month.
Right.
So that was living pretty good.
Yeah.
You know.
I heard that in another interview about that idea that in a streaming world today, it's very little money. It's very and you have to find creative ways to be able to make money. You can't do it like you said when you go into a club or you go in, unless you do like it's a paid gig in a certain way. People are doing backyards concerts and the touring and things like that. It's kind of
and there's a big difference between being a musician playing music and an entertainer.
Yeah.
Big difference. See, and if you don't have those venues to practice your craft, you're not going to become an entertainer. You're just going to become a singer.
That's right. Background music.
And you see that everywhere you go. A lot of people are just singers and good singers. Mm-hmm. But people pay money to be entertained.
John Michael's specialty has always been country clubs.
Yeah.
All across the United States, whether it's Greenville, South Carolina, or in Los Angeles or wherever it is, high-end country clubs that actually want a show, and
they want auditory.
So you found a niche within that.
Yeah, it's been very good to us.
Yeah,
because some people, when you're a good singer, that's just you're only hitting the people who are auditory. They're listening. They listen to the music, but it doesn't hit the visual people. They want to see you sing. They want to dance, move
they
around.
want that Elvis.
So you got to have both. You got to have the visual and auditory.
Right.
That's
a good nugget right there.
Yeah.
For
when you perform, if you're just singing,
Yeah.
you're missing the other half of the audience.
Yes.
So, but if you hit the auditory and the visual, and the way you dress has a lot to do with it. See, dressing has gotten very casual.
Yes.
People come in with just Levi's and a torn shirt and things like that.
Yeah.
It's gotten that way.
Yes.
But there was a time when you dressed up. In a suit and it looked nice and tie. You watch all the Motown groups.
I was going to say. I was just about to say that. I said the Temptations.
You got it. Yes,
exactly. And they had the performance. The moves. To go along with.
They had the moves.
At one time, part of his background singers. Were the same singers that backed a lot of these Motown groups. Yeah, the OJs and
the Drifters
and stuff. Yeah. They were his back line for several years when we were in Los Angeles.
So I'd be singing the songs, they'd be doing the moves.
Yeah, they do the moves.
Oh, yeah.
That's the visual.
They had all the dance moves down.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, you're right about that. It is a difference nowadays. It's not, whatever.
So, bring back the opportunity for people to get paid for what they do, and they learn that it's just not singing. But in Nashville, it's about the original music.
Yes.
Now, we live in Las Vegas.
Right.
It's a show.
Yeah.
We a couple of weeks ago, went to see MJ, Michael Jackson's show. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was a fabulous show. I never saw Michael Jackson in person, but this impersonator was so good. I mean, he just put on a show, and people went crazy, and he hit all the auditory, visual.
Yeah.
Kinetic, yes, kinetic.
Yeah.
You know, the believability, because that's another thing. The believability that when you're performing, that the audience has to lock into. Like, I believe what they're saying.
Right.
I believe that this is a true person giving me a good performance.
Yeah.
Because you can't just be up there singing and just kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to have a personality with a lot of that. But you're right. It's what I see a lot of stage work is the explosions and all that sort of
Taylor
visual.
Swift, all those. Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
They're explosions now. I saw a thing the other day with her tickets are anywhere from $500 to $1,000 a seat.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But she's playing 3 hours and 20 minutes.
Oh
now.
yeah.
They're playing long hours.
Long hours. Yeah.
You got to be in good shape.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to be an entertainer, it's like being an athlete.
Yeah.
I go to the gym all the time. I work out. I eat right. I sleep good. You know, I don't take drugs. I don't do any of that stuff. I don't even drink.
Right.
But if you're going to be an entertainer,
yeah,
you have to follow that regiment.
Yeah.
Even if you want to be a concert performer, you know, it takes a lot of energy.
You remind me of Tim McGraw is like that. He's very conditioned, like physically, to be able to withstand the touring and everything else like that. He works out even while he's touring, you know, between shows and stuff like that. And for songwriters out there, as we're addressing, make sure you have performance in your songs. You know, give a little bit of show to that because you will go a long way.
Well,
People will like you more. They'll realize they're getting entertained.
You got to reach out to the audience because sometimes when you're performing, you've got to put that energy out to the audience.
Yeah.
And the thing is, many of the audiences, they're coming in and they didn't pay to get there. They're just buying their drinks.
Right.
You know, when people come in and they lay down $40, $80, $120 for a ticket, they want to be entertained. They don't want to just see you sitting up there.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
you and your wife go out for dinner or something. You want to be entertained.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
Whatever emotional level you come in, you want to be elevated up here.
Yeah.
So as an entertainer, you have to be up here. You have to grab these people and bring them up. Right. But if your level is here, and then they leave, they're going to be down here.
Yeah.
They're going to feel like they didn't get their money's worth. You're, in a sense, an entertainer is a drug.
Yeah.
You know, they're taking you in, and you're giving them all this energy. Right. So when they leave, they feel, oh my gosh, I feel great. You know, let's go gamble.
Yeah. Well, they feel like they've gotten more than what they paid for.
Yes.
And you're giving a lot of value and stuff.
You know, Las Vegas got great entertainment.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes. Vegas is definitely a show town.
It's a show town.
Right, we know that. Yeah.
And you know, I think a lot of performers that perform here in Nashville, if they were exposed to that, they become really good performers because performing is fun.
Right.
You know, it's a craft. You have to learn it.
Yeah.
You can have a lot of natural ability, but you know, I work with a lot of people and I teach them how to perform on stage.
Yeah.
I work with them on their vocal. I work with them on their presentation, and so does Pepper.
Yeah.
You know, we do that together, and
You just we're leading into, because I was looking at the question. I said, how important is it for you guys to mentor now? You know, you're more seasoned artists. You know, to be able to give some of that back and to be able to guide.
We have so many people that want to take performance lessons or singing lessons from us.
Right.
That we really have to be careful that we don't take too many because he's so busy with his career.
Yes.
He loves it. He loves taking someone and immediately seeing what they need and make them better. In a very short time he does that.
Right.
So he's sought after, but we try not to take more than 4 or 5, maybe 6 students at a time because it's quite time consuming when you care about their progress.
Yes. And
And I tell them, I said, if you're going to come here once a week, it isn't going to happen. You're going to be here every day. I mean, you have to be here every day and many hours. I mean, it takes an investment, it takes time. Yeah. But it's like vocal lessons. If you're taking vocal lessons once a week, it's not going to happen.
No.
And you know, I tell people I don't do scales. We're not doing scales. Yeah. You're going to sing, and I'm going to evaluate your voice. I'm going to tell you exactly what we need to work on, and then you're going to learn how to your presentation, being on stage, the psychology of being on stage, how to engage an audience.
Yeah.
You know, all these things you have to learn, but they have to devote themselves and dedicate themselves to it. You know, Sophie, who's upstairs right now.
Sophie Love.
Yeah.
She arrives early in the morning, and she leaves late at night.
Right.
And
she's been with us for 3.5 years, and who knew when she came in as a student that she was going to turn into his singing partner.
Yeah.
It's been a beautiful experience.
That's been different, a little bit than, you know, just the standard teaching. It's been kind of that way,
Well, you know, I feel it's a gift to be able to work with people, because if they're dedicated, I can make them better.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we're older. We've learned things.
Right.
And we can impart that on younger people.
Yeah.
If they're open to it.
Yeah.
But many people want to be, well, I want to be my own artist. I want to be different. And they think by not knowing this stuff, they're different.
Right.
No, you have to learn. It's like the songwriting, the craft of songwriting.
Yeah.
You have to learn about structure and format and where the title goes. The whole thing. Right. You can't just write a song, but many people do. They just write a song and it goes on forever. It's like, that's not going to work.
Well, I think we can end it here, but let's, if you don't mind, can we listen to some of your performance?
Okay. I was asked to play a few songs and do a little medley of some of the songs I've written. This one I wrote for Fred Astaire, if he was still around. Don't need a reason to love you. You can see him dancing now. Don't need a reason why. I do, 'cause I do. When it comes to loving you, I don't need a reason why. But also I do some country music. Do you like country music? It's a favorite of mine. Puppy dogs and pizza, sound of music makes me cry. What would it take to be your guy? Whatever kind of loving you need, I'd be willing to try. Or it could be kind of a blues type of style of songs. It's getting to me, all of the lies, believing in things I can't see with my eyes. But I've tried, oh why? 'Cause I'm breaking up inside. Little blues, little jazz in there. Or it could be just something, a pop country song. What's the first line? I want to take you to a movie. I want to hold your hand. I want to show you my room view. Cafe chairs, table for two. 'Cause you're one heck of a girl, heck of a girl. Ooh, baby, you're one heck of a girl, heck of a girl. Baby, you're the one. Or it could be like something that's about a traveling gambler out there. I'm a traveling gambler, riding a winning streak, holding 4 aces, that's all I need. So lady, won't you join me for a celebration toast? I'm an old man wishing in a young man's ghost. You know, the thing about songwriting is you have to find those little golden nugget lines, you know, every once in a while. And sometimes you're just lucky God gives you those certain lines. But I'm very appreciative of that. And that was just a few of my songs. I actually have more, but I think to get the idea of what I do.
Well, John, thank you very much for that performance, and thank you again for this interview and just the opportunity to sit down with you.
It's my pleasure to be here to entertain your fan club out there.
Well, I hope you're entertained. Please go follow John.
Yeah,
right?
at johnmichaelferrari.com. Everything's on there. Our website, my touring schedule.
Yeah.
And if you want to contact us, there's information there to contact Pepper. And if you're interested in taking performance lessons, I don't give singing lessons. I coach singers. There's a difference between singing lessons because most of the singing lessons they do a lot of vocal exercises.
Right.
I tell them vocalize before you get to before you get here.
Yeah.
Because we're going to dive right into it. We're going to get right into working and singing.
Right.
But please contact us if you want.
Yeah. And of course, contact Pepper. She's the person to. She's behind the camera. She's the person to work out the details and everything else like that. She's very good at it. Very, very good at it. Anyway. Thank you again, John, and thank you for joining us. And I hope you have a great week. Take care, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.